There's a lot of
Pull it up and see if it's working.
yeah. I just want to mention one thing. There's a lot of benching dilemmas, by the way. Rogers, Mbimo, who to bench, and you got obviously Ja Pedro or
Wait, are you sure
Mbimo.
you're streaming on Roundtable, by the way?
Yes, I should be. Let me just double check that. Stream information, restream channels. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm on both an X as well as on Roundtable. Yeah,
Yeah. You're cooking, bro. You're
yeah.
cooking. Let's go.
All right. Let's do this. So just want to make sure we don't forget about that. Yeah, the benching dilemmas a lot of people have this week, myself included.
Of course, bro.
So
100%, man.
all right. So I'm just gonna share the link and then we can crack on. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah. Don't even worry, man.
Okay.
Dark, bro. A lot of people are targeting Chelsea, bro. You must be a little bit excited.
Excited.
Yeah. I mean, that's your club, bro. It means that your club is doing well. People are trying to target their assets.
Yeah, but even when teams aren't doing well,
We don't forget about
people target. People are targeting Bowen because of West Ham's fixtures, and they're doing shit. So it doesn't really mean much to me in the FPL community.
Okay, true. That's fair. I mean, I always like to see people are targeting Mo or Holland. It makes me feel like, okay, Liverpool are cooking. Let's go.
Bro, Liverpool are cooking. They are cooking for real.
For real, bro.
Yeah, I'm ready. I've shared the link. We should be ready, man. Let's get it.
All
Let's
right, we'll
crack
start
on.
it up in 3, 2, 1. I'll intro it.
Okay, go for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the FPL Roundtable podcast. I think this is going to be episode 9, going into game week 13 now, I think. Right?
Yeah, game week 14 now,
14.
actually. 14, yeah.
Damn, bro, yo, the weeks
Yeah.
are flying by. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
I'm the co-host of the pod. My name is Kanji, and I got my co-host K-Man and Stark. How are we guys doing?
I'm doing fantastic, mate. How about yourself? I had an amazing game week. Life is good. I'm grateful. I'm alive. Alhamdulillah. Can't complain, bro. I think I'm back. Revenge season is back. So.
Jeez, he's cooking. Yeah, bro, I'm coming off my second green arrow in a row, which feels fantastic, bro. Stark, how are you feeling?
Mate, how about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm good. K-Man, what you're saying is you sell Haaland and you instantly get a green arrow.
Yeah, bro. It's just basically it's become the new trend now. Basically you sell Haaland and you get a green arrow. It's basically the trend now. I saw you do it. I saw Meerkat and I saw Harry. I saw pretty much every single content creators that I know that sold Haaland pretty much had a very good outcome. So I thought, why not? Let's not be emotional about it. I did have a kind of somewhat emotional attachment because he was such a big part of my plan. But I did have to, divert my plan and I have to put my hands up and admit that I was wrong. And in life, it happens, right? You're not gonna be always right, and you have to adapt to circumstances and situations. So, yeah.
Someone in the chat,
100%.
sorry, someone in the chat said audio for Kanji and Stark is too low and
Uh,
K-Man's is too high.
Sorry. Let me just fix that. Apologies. Okay, should be fine now.
Hopefully.
Let me know, please, if that's working.
Thank you, Manon.
Thank you.
For letting us know.
Thank you, Manon. Yeah.
And by the way, if you guys see anything in the chat, feel free to just shout it out. I can't see it myself.
Yeah, Stark, if you could keep an eye on it as well, because I can't see it myself as well. I'm doing the slides, so Stark.
Yeah, don't worry. I've got the chat. Don't worry. Get your comments in the chat. Get your any difficult questions. Obviously, we'll tackle it at the end or when we get a chance. But if you've got opinions or anything, just keep the comments coming.
For sure, yeah. And if people like comment something, just feel free to give them a little shout out, bro. Like you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think one of the main talking points from last week is going to be the Liverpool and Man City match. Now, for me, this was like a mouth-watering fixture. I was looking forward to this game for the past maybe 2 or 3 months. Like since the fixture schedule comes out, I always circle this date on my calendar. I arrange my whole plans for the day around watching this match. Like it's usually the advertisement of the best Premier League game of the season, usually, and it didn't really disappoint that much. It kind of just went exactly what we thought it was going to be. Liverpool dominated them more than I expected them to. Man City didn't really put up much of a fight, but it's not really a surprise given the fact that they haven't won a game in their last 5 games, and Liverpool pretty much won all their games in the last 5. So it was like a clash of two teams going in opposite directions, and the game kind of went as we expected. Just curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are on that match.
As a Salah captainer, I was after 2 minutes. I was licking my lips. Like the way I thought that in the first 20 minutes, I felt like Liverpool attackers actually failed Salah in a sense because I saw him open a lot and they kept making the incorrect decision. Like Gakpo was cutting in trying to shoot. I thought there was a lot of instances where Salah was actually in a lot of space on that right side. And if they found him, he can produce magic. Look what he did when he did get it. That was a beautiful assist, man. I wish I knew Gakpo was nailed because I think he's a baller, but I think he's definitely a massive differential because if he was nailed for the next 5 games, I think he could like get some double-digit hauls in him.
It's just that I have a problem with Liverpool attackers in general, other than I guess Salah, of course, who everyone's gonna have. Like, first of all, I want to touch on the match. By the way, Kanji, congratulations. You deserve a round of applause. I did have my doubts about your team and Slot. I felt like he hasn't been tested yet. And even till now, I don't think he has been tested yet. I don't think this is the best City team, ideally on paper. But at the end of the day, it is the City team. And regardless of who's on the pitch, they're going to put their best foot forward, in which they tried at their absolute best. And you guys manhandled them, dominated them in every sense of the word. They couldn't get a sniff at your goal. I don't think they had a shot in target. So well done. Great job. The league is looking like you seem to be the favorites for now, but it's still early season, right? So kudos to you. And then obviously I want to mention that the FPL aspect of things in regards to Jota or in regards to Diaz or Gakpo, I think they're just minutes risks, bro. Personally, during this busy Christmas period, I wouldn't go there. So yeah.
For sure. I mean, like mind the gap. Arsenal are at 25 points and Liverpool are at 35 points, like 13 games in. So there's like a 9 point gap already. Kind of crazy. You know what's also surprising? Chelsea are tied for Arsenal for points this season. Isn't that nuts, Stark?
No, I think we are doing what we are doing, like what we should be doing. I think Arsenal are just underachieving, but that's because Odegaard was injured and he's vital to their attack. So I expect them to go on a good run. We've got good fixtures, so I'm hoping we can keep up with the pace because, as I've been screaming, our fixture run is really good. So if we can just be serious, get 3 points, win the games we should win, we will be comfortably in and around the top three. But difficult when you've got Sanchez in goal.
And like just like referring back to the conversation we had around like the Chelsea formation, hopefully we have that slide maybe in the slideshow. Do you have anything to update us based on like what you saw from last week on this?
Yeah, so Caicedo in the last game was actually right back. So as you know, our right back inverts into midfield to create an overload in all areas of the pitch. This frees up Palmer. It helps us play out from the back, so which obviously helps generate big chances on the transition, beat in a press. So if Caicedo continues to invert from right back into DM next to Lavia, then Enzo and Palmer will be the two 8/10s. What that means is Cucurella kind of emerges as an asset, just due to him low key with his form. He'll be nailed in that. I don't see any other left back in our team taking him out of that position the way he's playing currently. But obviously things can change quickly, and he's got attacking threat because he bombs up the pitch. Like last week, he could have had an assist. I think he did actually, but it was offside. And then this week he did get an assist. So just something
Wow.
to keep an eye out for if Caicedo continues to play right back. But like I said, Enzo seems to favour Lavia and Caicedo in the big games. But this week he found a way to get all three of them in. And I think that's due to
Yeah, I mean,
Enzo's form.
yeah, I mean, big games don't really matter in terms like for context because like you only have like one big game in the next like 10 weeks. So like what we saw last week is gonna be more representative of what we should see in the future. So do you expect Cucurella to start every match? Do you think he's an FPL pick, or if people are there, would you prefer like a Colwell or a Sanchez instead?
It's I think it's just keep an eye on it because, like I said, if Caicedo continues to play right back, then Cucurella is going to be the one bombing forwards. If Gusto comes back in the team, then Gusto all of a sudden becomes the attacking defender. So I know people like their attacking defenders in FPL, but if you want the safe pick, Colwill. But also shout out to Badia Shield and Tosin. Fofana's injured, and I think Badia Shield's 4.3 and Tosin's 4.2. So whoever nails that spot down next to Colwill, they could be a cheap defender for the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, it's a really good shout. Yeah, I think there's another really cheap defender, and that actually guy, he plays for Liverpool because when you're looking at the squad, if you just go to like the FPL page and you look at the amount of like players in Liverpool squad, it's actually not as big as you think. Like Chelsea and Man City have actually many more players in their squad, especially like defensively. Like Liverpool have the Konate injury they're dealing with. Bradley's out for a while. So like Bradley's out for 4 to 6 weeks. Konate's out for 4 to 6 weeks. Simicast is out for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Like there's a lot of defensive injuries for Liverpool. I think there's going to be a heavy reliance on, the old guard of like Joe Gomez, maybe even Kwanzaa could get some minutes as well, because we know that Trent is also managing the hamstring injury that he picked up a few weeks ago, so he's not going to be starting every game. Well, I do expect him to start, but I don't expect him to play 90 every game. I think Robertson will be asked to start pretty much every match until Simicast comes back as well. So there's some high burden on the Liverpool players, and if we look at the fixtures coming up for Liverpool and for Chelsea as well, just to sort of put this in context for everybody, like Liverpool and Chelsea are like good teams to be targeting from a defensive perspective. So I'm looking to target, like I already have Trent, but I'm definitely looking to bring in another Liverpool asset, whether it's defensive or offensive. Do you guys have an eye on that as well or no?
Hmm. I don't like the rotation. Obviously, last week we've even got the slide there. We've got Glassmen and Ironmen for this run. So you want people who are nailed, not at risk of rotation. And I think every Liverpool attacker bar Salah's at risk of rotation. So obviously, yeah, like you said, Joe Gomez, I think he should be the man to replace Konate for 5 to 6 weeks for this run. So if you've got the luxury of a transfer, defensive transfer, I think he's kind of emerging as a good pick. I think I'd lean towards a defense as opposed to a second attacker for the rotation risk, personally.
What do you think, Heyman?
For me, the Liverpool is like there's a luxury of picks right now. I mean, you've got a Van Dijk and Trent as a premium option, and then obviously you got the likes of Gomez and Kwanzaa, but obviously Kwanzaa is not now to start, so it's most likely Gomez. So I think during this busy Christmas period where the games are coming thick and fast, and if you're looking for a defender for the next 4 weeks, I guess 2 to 4 weeks, you're gonna get around 4 to 5 game weeks out of those players. I do think it's worth the value. So you could go for Gomez, but I think the upside is with Van Dijk and Trent.
Oh yeah, I mean we saw in the match like Van Dijk had three really good chances to score a goal, and that was against Man City. But usually, like at this point, Man City is a mid-table team, so I don't want to give too much respect to them at this point. They have
Whoa,
been playing pretty poor,
whoa,
so that is
it's
what it is.
crazy, bro. Man City mid-table team is crazy, bro. Wow.
I mean, that's how they've been playing, though. I mean, Holland hasn't been doing anything, and they concede every game.
Oh wow, man.
I
Okay,
do
this is
think
just gone.
I do think with Ruben Diaz back, I think they will be a bit more solid. If even if he continues to play Ake instead of Guardiola as well, like Guardiola takes so many risks that they're even more open on the transition. So I think, yeah, if you had Rico Lewis, if you still hold on to Rico Lewis and you've got him now, and obviously now the fixtures look good for clean sheets, and obviously like the picture can change because say if Guardiola does get dropped for Ake, all of a sudden Rico Lewis is the guy, right, in the attacking sense. So because I thought he was quite attacking versus Liverpool. Do you keep him or do you get rid of him still?
I think he's played a lot of minutes though, so he's a bit of a benching risk now, isn't he? Like when there's midweek fixtures, he played in the Champions League, he played versus Liverpool for 90. It's just that this busy period, I don't like that type of player. But obviously, if you can rotate him and there's a bench cover, then that's fine to keep him because they have good fixtures coming up. But if he's your third or fourth, guy that you need every week, then he's not the one.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Rico is the type of player that if you own him, I don't think he's a sell. I think you just hold for the next two and then observe and see how Man City are. I mean, with Guardiola, you're paying 6.0, but you also get the attacking upside. With Rico, like he's in good attacking positions, but doesn't get enough like XGI or doesn't get enough of the final pass. I mean, City aren't scoring many goals, but you kind of just need to wait for a turnaround for Man City. And given that they play Forest and Palace in the next two, I think you can just hold on and then just react later, right?
Yeah, but
I don't really
like,
think there's going to be many people targeting to bring Rico Lewis in.
yeah, no, of
I
course
think
not.
he's just a hold.
I just think that you know, I'd say Chelsea defense. They all they control the game well, but they always there's a lapse of concentration and they give up a big chance, or there's an error, like catastrophic error that leads to a goal. Defense Aston Villa, people like the XG numbers, but the same thing, they, in my opinion, are just never a banker for a clean sheet. They have an error in them. They play high risk, high reward football. Brighton have good fixtures. Same thing, high line. I don't think their defense is that great. So you just look at the alternatives. People are trying to bring other defenders in. It's just such a sideways move. I think if you've got Rico, just utilize him as a fourth/fifth defender. And if you can get any information on leaks or anything, I think he's a good option. I think there's no point moving away from him for another 4.5 million defender.
Yeah, I think the same has to go for like a Leaf Davis and Aiden Lewis Hall. I think they're all sort of in the same boat. Like there's nothing really to say. Like you know how good they are already if you have them. You hold as long as they have some good fixtures coming up. I think one of the more interesting conversation topics will be like Brian and Bumo replacements. I mean, we did touch upon this earlier last week. I think we do have a Bumo slide. I think.
Yeah,
Human, if
we
you
do
can
have
pull
a
it up.
yeah, we have a slide. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, slide.
What do you think on the replacements, bro?
I do want to add, I think we covered it last week briefly, and I do want to add another name to this list, which is Odegaard. He's back from injury, and we saw how impactful he is to Arsenal attack, and the fact that, I mean, he obviously got a pen, gifted a pen, but overall he still looked fantastic. And I think when the upcoming fixtures, I mean, when Arsenal play the likes of Everton or the likes of Fulham and they play low block, I do think that he will be the critical point to breaking that low block down. So that 1-2 with Saka, Timber, that will be one of the way they break it down, and that could lead to him getting some shots as well as maybe an assist. So I do think that he's going to be a good replace for Mbimo if you have the money to go up. But obviously in the same price bracket or below is you got Brand Mbimo. But I think, sorry, not Mbimo, Jared Bowen. But I think Kudus might be a better option there, considering that he's a bit more, I guess he gets a bit more chances compared to Jared Bowen. He becomes more a bit more like a creator rather than a scorer. So Kudus might be a better option there. And then obviously Mitoma is easy for me. If you were to like absolutely take out Mbimo, I'd go Mitoma this week.
Yeah, I just don't like the entry point for Matoma. It's like I don't really like going against Fulham, but the fixtures after that are really good, like Leicester, Palace, West Ham, Brentford. I think he can return in 2 or 3 of the next 4 for sure after that.
I think, look, Leicester, Palace, West Ham, Brentford. You can't tell me any of these fixtures are not a good fixture, like in terms of attacking for attackers, anyways. I'm not talking about defenders because anyone can score versus anyone. But for attacks such as Brighton, bro, like they're so explosive, and Mitoma is basically one of the main superstars, and he's involved in most of the chance creation, and sometimes he will even land a chance or two. So my favorite right now, if I had a luxury transfer and I want to move someone, it would be Mitoma over Jared Bowen, Kudus, and X, Y, and Z. So
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Nick in the chat said that he thinks Mbeumo is a hold. Obviously, with the appeal that he's a 90-minute man, congested period on set pieces, like there's no risk of rotation. I know a lot of people have that opinion on Mbeumo, and I think if there's nothing wrong with holding him, I think it's going to obviously divide the game a bit more, make it a bit more controversial because there's not much controversy happening right now. Everyone's got the same 3 premium midfielders, Gabriel in defence, no Haaland, so the template's kind of forming. So it's good to have more decisions to make, which is going to divide the community. I'm on the get rid of Mbeumo camp, and I'm bringing in Kulusevski. So my replacement for Mbeumo is Kulusevski.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good shout. Like given that Spurs are the #1 team in terms of expected goals created in the last 6 weeks and over the season. So like another Spurs attacker in your team is never a bad show as long as the minutes are good, right?
Yeah, it's just their attack is amazing. I know they're inconsistent in that sense. Like one game, Kulu could probably get a double-digit haul, and in the next game, they draw to Fulham. They beat City 4-0, and then they draw to Fulham. So they beat who did they beat? Villa and West Ham, and then they lost to Ipswich at home. So that's what you have to expect with them. But they give you that upside, and I like chasing upside. He's a differential. I think he's a 90-minute man when he's on the pitch, and he's just playing amazingly well. And I just love what he enables because for me, he enables the likes of Trent, and I think Trent is worth investing in alongside Gabriel for this run. So
Yeah, that's you know what? I was waiting for this topic to be brought up. Can we move to like the fixtures? If we have like a fixture ticker so we can just sort of examine it. So like you're looking at Liverpool's fixtures now, the Man City fixtures are already out of the way. And like coming up, they have some very good targetable fixtures. I know Fulham and Everton look okay, given that it's the last Merseyside derby. Fulham have been a very solid team, but after that, the fixtures are just good for like the next 6 or 7 weeks. Like playing against like Ipswich, Leicester, West Ham, Brentford. Like there's so many good fixtures to be targeting for Liverpool after that. So given that it's like a mixed-ish run, I feel like the entry point to Liverpool defense, don't you feel like it's next week? Or would you consider even going this week to bring in a Liverpool defender?
You see, I'm in that. Sorry, go on, Stark.
No, go, Cayman.
Because I'm in that same scenario actually myself. I have Konate who's injured, and I played Burgess last week, and he got 2 points. If I was to take a -4 and bring in Timber, I would have lost on that -4. So luckily that worked out in my favor. However, in the same breath, like if I went for Trent, for example, he had 8-pointer, and I would have gained 4 points on the field, and that would have been a good move. However, Trent just came back from injury and he's playing Man City at home. It's not ideal to go there. But I'm thinking this week, am I making the same mistake again when I know Trent is so explosive? He had 8 points, but he could have easily had a 15-pointer versus City. Easily. We saw the games. He had big chances. He created big chances as well. Now, Newcastle away is a tough fixture, but at the same time, I'm playing the likes of Lewis Hall, Burgess, and Gabriel. And there is doubts around Gabriel as well. So my difference is in a dire need for a transfer. So I'm in that scenario where I need to take a -4 to bring in Trent. Now, obviously, the entry point isn't there, but at the same time, the upside is there. It could go my way where Newcastle, they only created one chance, or they had one shot on target versus Palace. Now, we all know that Liverpool is a better defense than Palace / a better team. So what's to say that Newcastle are going to, break that wall and get something? So Trent could easily come up with another 8 or 9-pointer, and I gain at least 4 or 5 points. So for my situation, considering I have no backup, like I basically have no backup if Gabriel is out. I'm playing Burgess, which is basically playing or not playing. It's basically 2-point guaranteed. So
or less.
Yeah, or less, exactly.
I'm willing to put my neck on the line and say and suggest that there's Gabriel plays. Like the punch in the face from Fabianski was like quite brutal. They were 5-2 up at half time. There's no way on this planet West Ham were coming back. And if he takes him off and says it's because of the concussion, Gabriel then can't play the next 9 days. So of course it makes sense for Arteta to use his mind games and just intelligently suggest that it was due to the knock versus Sporting. I think he was absolutely fine until that concussion, and I think he'll be fine to play the next game, in my opinion. I don't think it's that knock. I think he's just using it as an excuse.
So would you do a -4 for me this week? Because I don't want to play Hall, because I think Hall he gets a 1-pointer. You know what I mean? Versus Liverpool. I don't think
Yeah, I get it. Trent is one of the few defenders who has the upside, and when you said Newcastle only created one, they didn't even have a shot on target. It was an own goal.
Oh, sorry, my fault.
They had one shot in 90 minutes versus Crystal Palace, which is ridiculously shocking. And obviously, Isaac owner here, I'm quite worried about that. That's really concerning.
But we also watched the West Ham game, though, Stock, and they didn't do anything versus West Ham either. West Ham kept a clean sheet at their crib.
Yeah, but Isak should have scored, man. Like
no, I hear you.
Yeah,
but he's not going to get those same chances versus Liverpool, though. We all know that he's not getting those chances versus Liverpool.
Of course not, but he played Arsenal and he scored. Do you know what I mean? Like Isak's just that guy. If Newcastle do create a chance, Isak's going to be the one at the end of the pitch who has it, and he's probably going to be the one to convert it. So it's one of those situations where football sometimes just is played on grass and not on paper. Sometimes a fixture, you play the fixtures, and then crazy stuff just happens. Right?
No, I completely understand you, but I just feel like for me to chase the upside, it might be worth it. What do you think, Angie?
Yeah, I mean, if you're bringing Trent in, like it's a no-brainer. Like the -4 doesn't really matter who he's playing at this point. I mean, they kept a clean sheet against Real Madrid and against Man City. Like Newcastle are not like some fire-beating attack that makes you nervous. But
no, I agree,
you're playing away at St. James's Park, and historically, it's always like tough to win there. And like, I mean, if I'm going for Trent, it's different. He's just like different level of a player to any defender that you're gonna get, and like Liverpool are just on a different level to any defense apart from Arsenal. So I would just -4 it and just like move on to next week and have an extra transfer down the line.
Exactly, and that way I can bench Lewis Hall as well, right? I can bench him. Anyways, we'll get to my team. I don't want to talk about my team too much. But
no worries. I think those are like the main talking points. I'm just trying to think of other talking points because we covered like Isak. Did we cover Isak replacements?
No, we haven't. But he's okay though. We know he's okay now. We don't. I mean, he's okay now. I think if you have Isak now, which is we got the news now that he's okay. He did an interview and that he's fine. If you haven't taken him out yet, he's a hold because you bought him for this fixture run. You look at this fixture run like Leicester, like come on Brentford, like these are the fixtures that you want your attackers for.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I want to chime in on this point because I own Isak and I've held him, and I've seen a lot of managers cough cough in the stream right now. Sell Isak to get Jackson in. So I think there's a bit of game theory here, and the game theory is that if you move Isak to Jackson now, you're essentially conceding the points Jackson has over Isak in the last two, and how you can't gain back those points by jumping to Jackson. So I'm going to keep Isak. I'm to hold for the Leicester and Ipswich game, and I'm going to take Jackson on, and just hope that Isak can provide something in the next 4 games, and hopefully Jackson can stop scoring every week. I think Jackson's a great player to have, but I'm confident in taking him on with Isak. Isak's a great player. He's on pens if Wilson's not on the pitch. So yes, a bit of game theory. I want to try and claw back those points and not waste a transfer.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I regret going early. Like I did it basically for price rises. Like I already saw Isak went down point 0.1, Jackson went up point 0.1, so there was already like a point 0.1 swing in either direction. And I also thought it's like the perfect fixture for Jackson. It's like Southampton. Like given the fact that there's Ramsdale out, this who's their star player again? Dibbling. He's also suspended for the match. Howard Bellis is out. Like, bro, this is gonna be like they're gonna kill Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea's gonna kill Southampton on the weekend, don't you think?
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
we thought the same about Haaland when he played Tottenham without Van de Ven and Romero, and he didn't score. And Southampton will defend for their lives. So who knows, man? Who knows? Football is a crazy game, but on paper, yeah, it's a great fixture, and I understand it. We should smash them.
Yeah, honestly, it's more so that the fixture. Do you think like easy fixtures suit Jackson, or do you think like he's better suited in the bigger games when there's more space to run into?
I think
Mm,
Jackson will get more points versus Tottenham than against Southampton.
Wow,
But what I would say is
that's a bold
actually
take.
Jackson's pressing is really good and he's really aggressive. So if they play out the back, which I think they will, Jackson's going to be the beneficiary of us winning the ball back and just breaking the lines quickly. And he's really good at that. I think against West Ham, he's done it. He's done it countless times this season. So I think there'll be definitely chances there for him. But I just think he'll relish the Spurs game. He's so quick and his movement's really good.
For sure. I think one of the main talking points is going to be about like the template that's being formed. Like I think it's sort of very apparent at this point now where Salah, Saka, and Palmer are the main premium players to be targeting in your midfield. And then up top, you're going to have one of Isak or Jackson, maybe both. Cunha is an option there. Job Pedro is basically almost everybody is going to be targeting those types of strikers as well. And in defense, Gabriel is very highly owned. He's 95% owned by elite managers. Um, I think the question to ask yourself is, are there any picks of those that you think you can take on and try to like to beat them, or do you think like those are the picks that we just need to own?
well, I think it's very difficult right now. I think sometimes what you have to do is you have to find differentials in captaincy, which is a risky game right now considering what Salah is doing. And I mentioned this a couple of times already in various spaces. I think the level of consistency is showing it is insane. And I don't know how he's sustaining it. And for me to say that he's not going to sustain it is also sounds crazy. It's more probable that he sustains and then not sustain it because of the fact that he's already done it 9 times. How many times does he have to do it more for us to doubt him? I can't doubt him. So even going into this fixture, yes, we're on Palmer captaincy, correct, which is on paper and logically makes sense that Palmer is the better captain considering the fixture. But would I be surprised that if Salah goes out there and gets a goal and an assist versus Newcastle and then he, outscores Palmer because Palmer only had a one assist or only one goal? I wouldn't be. And if someone were to ask me, would you captain Salah this week over Palmer? I'd be like, I said, that's not a bad shout. I don't blame you. Like we have so far, what we have seen, regardless of who he's playing, whether it's Chelsea, whether it's Arsenal, whether it's Man City, he's getting a return. Why should it be different for Newcastle? Are we saying that Newcastle is better than those teams? No, they're not. So in that sense, Salah is just as well of a good captaincy shout as Palmer, but on paper, obviously, it's Palmer the best captain. But yeah, man, I just think that Salah has made the game a bit more template than it should have been. But yeah.
I don't on the sustainability on Salah, I would be inclined to suggest that is kind of not sustainable due to the goal. He's getting a goal and assist right consistently, but that goal's coming from a penalty a lot. And how sustainable are penalties every game? I mean, I know David Coote, as the David Coote saga, I feel like has led Pete like the refs to just give every penalty to Liverpool because they feel sorry for him. Because even in the Champions League, Salah's getting pens. Like it's crazy right now. But I think the weekend just gone was just ridiculous for penalties. Anyway, we saw 3 in one game for Cliver. We saw 2 for Arsenal. Liverpool got 1. Like so many penalties that week. But Salah, like to be fair, he could have had more. Like that chance he missed. That's what I'm saying. Salah's that guy that he'll get dangerous chances, and FPL finds its way of balancing itself out. He might have missed it, but he got a penalty, so he still got the haul anyways. But me personally, I don't want to take on Saka in this fixture run. I don't want to take on Palmer in this fixture run, and I don't want to take on Salah. No way. 9 double-digit hauls in 13. I don't know how Kanji sleeps at night not owning Salah. Bro, how do you?
Yeah, literally, bro. Yeah, he's just it's like a slow death every week. So whenever Salah plays, it's like basically 20 points the field is gaining on me. It's crazy. But yeah, I think we covered a lot of the great topics. Like we covered Isak. I think if people own Isak, I would recommending to hold, but I've sold. So if I have the information that I knew now, I would have held, but I wouldn't care about the price rises. But I made my bed. Now it's like, if I'm honest, my plan was to captain Isak in Gameweek 15, and I still want to do it now, but we'll have to see. I mean,
Yo,
I don't know who the heck I'm going to captain next week. Like, it's so open. Have you guys thought about that?
sorry, I'm just giggling because Thinking Cap in the chat said, if Salah hauls again, please visit Kanji's house and take away all razors.
Yo, you know what's funny? In this fixture last year, it was like a Salah assist to Darwin that won the game. It was like they had 11 men, we had 10 men. So I'm hoping like Darwin can have like a good match hopefully this week. But you see, there's certain players the coach just doesn't like at Liverpool. Like Darwin just doesn't get the minutes. Kwanzaa doesn't get the minutes. So it's like you kind of know who the picks are because the coach is sort of playing favorites at this point now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro,
Yeah.
it's difficult, man. It's difficult to go against the template right now, boys. I think you gotta let the template form, and then pick your maybe battles with the captaincy, or maybe a little differential here and there. Maybe you pick up a United assets a bit earlier. Maybe you jump on a couple of assets, like for example Trent early. Like that's where you gotta get your gains. For example, be ahead of the curve in that sense. So for example, a lot of people are right now on the fence with Mbemo. So maybe you're one of those guys that basically goes ahead of the template, or basically goes maybe for example, what could be the next big asset? Because right now there is a lot of imbalance, right? We don't know who's the best Mbima replacement is. So, if, for example, you jump on Mitoma or a Bowen and they bang, and then they become the template, but you're there 1 week early. I think that's the way to get an edge. But you don't take on Saka, Salah, Palmer right now at this stage when they have such a great fixture run and when they have such a good form. Yeah, man, it's difficult. Difficult.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page there. I think it just depends on the position you're in. So,
Someone,
like, there's obviously people, for example, like me, I've already made my bet against Mo. Like, in order to put Mo in, it takes a lot of transfers to do it. So I should try to roll as much as I can. So
I
I'm still
have
gonna
one
have Zucci
question though I wanted
chain
to
on
ask
them.
before Start comes in. Actually, no, we're gonna let Start go. I just don't want to
no,
forget the thought.
I was going to say, what's your thoughts on Ollie Watkins? Someone in the chats, I don't know if I should replace him with Jackson. So obviously Watkins right now is one of those picks where he could be the next template move. He's no one's really talking about him because of Villa's form and Champions League. So like, can Watkins return and be like a bit of a differential that people finally jump on after 2 weeks of big hauls, or do you think not worth it with the rotation risk right now?
He's not a transfer in for me, but if you have him, he's a hold for sure. The reason why it's not a transfer in for me because Villa are really struggling, like in terms of balancing their midweek fixtures. And when they're gonna have midweek fixtures now, they just played Chelsea and they will look depleted, right? And they've just played a UCL game as well, so they got games every 3 days, and they can't cope with the players that they have. Like they don't have enough depth to cope with that. And now Martinez is out as he's injured as well, so they're gonna be more defensively liable on the counter. And Martinez does provide a lot of security at the back because they know he's a world-class goalkeeper. They can maybe slip here and there. But right now, with their backup goalkeeper, I don't think they can slip and make mistakes here and there because there won't be a Martinez bailout. So I think Villa players are not a buy unless you want to take a punt, it's a punt. You have to know it's a punt, meaning it's a big risk. And then if you have them, you hold them for sure. But yeah.
Yeah, you can't sell Watkins before Brentford and Southampton, right?
Yeah, bro, I would captain him in these fixtures. Like Brentford's is his old team, and Southampton is the best fixture on paper. Like, bro, it's such a great differential. If you own him, keep the faith, bro. He's gonna pay you back the next few weeks. And if he doesn't, then it's the time to sell after Southampton.
Yeah, and I think don't they have Newcastle and Man City after that, and then it's straight into Brighton, Leicester, or something like
Yeah,
that.
Brighton, Leicester, and Everton. Yeah, correct. You're correct. Yeah.
So like his
Wow.
these fixtures are, I think, good. Like Man City is a listen, guys. Man City is not a red fixture. I've been saying this since 1982. If your attackers have Man City, you should be dancing in your living room and excited to watch the game because their defense on the transition is terrible.
Yeah, that's crazy to say.
Should we move on to the next section?
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about before we move on?
I
I
think we
think like
covered the
mid-price forwards
strikers.
is like the main thing.
Yeah,
I
well,
think it's
we
just like
talked about it.
important to touch on, like if you are looking to sell Isak or you're looking to sell someone that you own, like who would be the strikers that you would prioritize bringing in?
Well, for me, I said Jackson for the last 2 weeks. I've been on Jackson camp for a minute, and then second would be Cunha for me. I think the next four still there is a potential for him to get a double-digit haul. And then obviously João Pedro is just like he's so cheap that you can get him anytime you want. To be fair,
I've got someone, and I
oh,
hate him. I hate him as a man. It's Kai Havertz.
oh
He's
wow,
he's 10% owned. I think he's quite nailed. And I think the way they're smacking team 5-1 against Sporting away, 5-2 against West Ham away. They don't actually leave London until they play Brighton, which I think is in game week 20. So they don't have much travelling. And I think a lot of people have double defence. There's not much upside in owning Raya, whereas Havertz, I think, will 100% provide managers with 10 points, 11 points, like every other game in this run if they continue to play the way they're playing. Big differential, and I'm starting to warm to him, to be honest, myself as an Isak replacement, like after Leicester. Ipswich.
Yeah, it's
what do you do with
unfortunate. Like
Solanke
I've
though? Because a
already.
lot of people have Solanke as well. Because that's another talking point. He was ill recently. Do you hold him or do you switch to João Pedro, Cunha, Havertz, and Isak or Jackson, for example?
Yeah, I had Solanke and I switched from him because those Europa League fixtures, like they don't really have a replacement for Solanke, in my opinion, to play in the Europa League. So there's not much rotation there. So he's getting too many, because I think this is the one negative to any Tottenham asset. And I know I've been hyping Kulu, but this as well is a negative. They play like Thursday, Sunday consistently for like 4 game weeks. That's not ideal, is it? Like at all.
No,
And
tired legs, and they're gonna have tired legs. Plus, the way they play, they need legs. Right, their system is just attack, attack, attack. So, yeah.
Solanke, I'd replace
Yeah,
him.
makes sense.
There's alternatives.
Yeah.
JP Cunha, 90 minutes. Well, not Cunha's 90 minutes on pen, set pieces, great fixtures. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean you got to prioritize JP and Cunha. But I think the third striker is really up to you. Like it's go and like pick the one that you want, and I think Isak is the pick for me personally. I really wish I didn't make that move. I'm gonna regret it forever.
For me, it's
But
Jackson,
Isak's
boys. Michael Jackson all day, boys. If you don't have Jackson, get him in. If not, you'll be behind the curve. So.
Yeah, Jackson's like once you bring Jackson,
damn,
you don't remove him for like ages, at least 15 game weeks.
Bro, he's a season hold, bro. He's essential. Like the way Kanji says, he's essential. Jackson is essential. Yeah, I said it. Hold that.
damn, bro. I mean, guess after his blank this week, you might change your tune.
Hey, I ain't changing my mind, bro. I made my bed. I'm living in it, bro.
I've got a great differential striker, Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Oh, for goodness sake, bro. We're moving on right now. We're moving on to our PFC, bro. What are we doing right now, bro? We're moving on, bro.
No, that's facts. That's facts, bro. On that note, let's move on to the best section of the podcast. This is the PFC section. Based on last week, we were all on fire. Everybody was getting points. We nailed all the picks, differentials, captaincies, flops. Like we got it all. So we're all doing well. We're all happy. Stark is still, as we move to the league table, I think Stark is still a little bit ahead of us, unfortunately. But hopefully he, falls into some traps like in the next couple weeks, and we can claw back.
I'm
But yeah,
struggling,
it's
man.
looking good
I'm
for all of us.
struggling. Like I'm 5 points behind Stark, man. This is pissing me off, bro. It's a joke, bro.
Bro, it's just like Man U buying Chelsea, man. What can I say?
Bro, I've been played, guys, bro. I've been played. We made some rule changes midway through the season I wasn't aware of. You know, that's not going in my favor. But I'm gonna be back. It's a long season, so yeah. I mean, last week we all
100%.
had 3 for 3, right? I mean, you guys want to say anything on that? Because I picked Onana. Like, I listen, guys. You have to understand. I keep goalkeeper. I had goalkeeper as a punt the last 2 weeks, and they both bang. There must be something that's missing within the goalkeepers. Like, I might be the god of picking goalkeepers differential. But yeah. Stark, I want to give
You're
you a shout out
him
as well
though.
because you had Evan Nilsson, right? Absolutely banged.
Yeah, Wolves is still a fixture I like to target for attackers. Wolves and West Ham, I think, because they come out of their shell in their own stadium and they actually try to go at teams and they're absolutely trash cans. So this is why I fancied Isak in game week 12. Like my captain for game week 12 was Isak because West Ham are terrible. Like, do not let those 2 games fool you. They are terrible in defense. Like, it's bad.
Yeah,
Wolves as well, man.
agreed.
Yeah,
The
makes
next
sense.
week, PFC for game week 14. I'll go first. I got Semenyo as a punt. I think that he plays. Spurs at home, and I think it suits his play style, where Bournemouth like to press, and obviously Spurs like to go at it as well. So it will be a bit more back and forth game, high end. And I think in those type of games, as we saw versus City on the counter, once they win the ball, he finds the space and he really exploits it. And he's a very good, dribbler slash shooter from outside the box. So he could maybe get something, and potentially I'm going to start him in my team as well. And I like the Spurs fixture without their, centre back, as well as they're missing their main goalkeeper Vicario. So I do like that as a pick. And then obviously you got Bruno Fernandes as a flop because I have an agenda against Bruno Fernandes, but unfortunately he plays for my club. But I hope he flops for once because the amount of love this guy was getting like 2 weeks ago, I couldn't stand it. Makes me sick. And finally, I have a chance to pick him as a flop versus Arsenal. If he does well, fair enough to him, right? And then if you beat Arsenal, fair enough. Like I'll give him his respect. But I got him as currently blanking because I know a lot of people own him. I think his ownership around over 16%. And then captaincy is
Wow.
obviously given Palmer. So yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I understand those takes. Like we did this in order. So, Stark, you actually ended up picking first. You want to go next?
Yeah, I've chosen Kulusevski. I've just transferred him in. Disclaimer. So that's my punt. I think Bournemouth Tottenham, similar to what Cayman said, Bournemouth at home, they like to press aggressively. It's a small stadium. They don't like to give space to teams. They're very good at home. So obviously, if Tottenham can break through that, there'll be a lot of space for the likes of Kulu. And I think end-to-end game can see a lot of goals. Why not? And Bumo flop, just because Brentford's away form is shocking. And he's playing right wing back. He's playing so far wide. You think he's chatting up one of the girls watching in the stadium, like getting their number. Captaincy, Cole Palmer, no, bro. I'm not going to overthink captaincy this week. It's a great fixture. So many routes to points. I'm gonna this is not the week to overthink, and I want early nights. I don't want to stay up overthinking captaincy like I did last week. That was a horror show.
Oh
Facts.
gosh. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you overthink captaincy sometimes. Sometimes you can overthink transfers as well. But this week is kind of a no-brainer. Like, I'm just gonna be on Palmer as the cap. Son as the punt. I genuinely cannot believe how lowly owned this guy is. Spurs most XG in the league. You got the guy that's supposed to play the most minutes on the Pens. Like, it's just perfect. Love him as a differential pick. And then flop is Danny Welbeck. Now, I look at Brighton and they're a very solid attack, but I just think this is the perfect time for them to rotate this week and next week. I think if they're ever going to start like a differential, like player like Ferguson, it could be in a match like this. Danny Welbeck's very injury prone. I think he does have rotation risk as well. So if I owned him, I would look to bench him. And personally, myself, I also own Joao Pedro. I'm going to bench him as well this week. I think they had enough rest time because I think they play on the Thursday. I think the turnaround from this week to next week is actually shorter, but it's just worth the risk of starting João Pedro next week against Leicester. But this week, I just don't see much upside. I really do respect Fulham, but I can't lie. That has bit me in the butt like 3 weeks in a row. I think benching an attacker that's played Fulham. So Let's see if this flop pays off. But we're trying our best to just go with attackers on the flops instead of putting in defenders in there because it was just too easy for me to put Pedro Porro in there. And hopefully it makes sense. So, and then when Cayman was putting Pedro Porro, he was getting all the points.
Yeah, bro. I tried to use the cheat code, but it didn't work for me, bro. I guess it only works in kanji.
I mean, no, Pedro Porro is a good player, but sometimes he's just weird. Like a 14-point haul versus Man City is
15,
crazy,
bro. I
bro.
think
Like
15, bro.
ridiculous, bro. Like I wonder if like that would ever happen again for the rest of the season.
I think moving forwards they should just continue to play Dragoshan and Ben Davis at centre back.
Yo,
Maybe.
Ben Davis played proper last week, bro. He was actually good.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. He gets so much hate, and he actually just is so professional. Doesn't moan about being on the bench. Just comes in and does a great job. Fair enough. We weren't familiar with your game. I'm sorry. Wasn't familiar
Yeah, I
with
feel
your
that
game.
same way
Yeah.
about I feel that same way about Joe Gomez personally. So it's really nice to see like performances like that this weekend. So going into last week, it was a really interesting week. So I had interesting decision between Saka and Palmer for captaincy. It didn't really matter too much about who I captained. They both double digited, but happy that I got a little bit more points going with the differential. You guys really pushed me over the edge in terms of going for Saka. So thanks for that from Cayman and Stark. So glad that we discussed it on the pod and your guys' encouragement. So that helped me get some points. Then I went out there and I basically played like 7 different penalty takers. So that is something I really like. And now that I've already done Isak to Jackson, I'm down to only 5 penalty takers, which doesn't really feel right to me, especially when you look at what happened to Clivert last week. The man did nothing and picked up 3 pens out of thin air. So it's like I really just want to keep as many penalty takers as possible on a weekly basis, and so it's something I really want to rectify in the future.
Can I just bring
And
something up?
then
Can I just bring something on that point? If you're moving to a budget enabler, do you go Cliver ahead of Semenyo?
The thing is, right now, if I didn't have so many, I'll probably go Clivert. Because I think the Bournemouth, the way they play, they have so many good players, like the attacking players. They're bound to win penalties, and they make such a good like when they press you, right? If you play them like and they attack you like that, they're gonna bound to create chaos, like bit like Spurs, and they're gonna get those pens. I'm surprised Spurs didn't get that many pens this season, honestly. Um, and I don't know. I just feel like Semenyo right now, he's still a good pick. I would still have him over Clivert. It's just that I'm not seeing the return. I'm seeing the flair. I'm seeing the quality in the player, but I'm just not getting the return. Whereas Clivert, he's getting the returns week in, week out. Whether it be coming off the bench getting an assist or whether it be him getting a pen.
Yeah,
So
isn't
yeah,
Clivert cheaper than him as well? So like the goal
yeah.
share is quite big.
Mhm.
Obviously he's an attacking threat, the same as Semenyo. Maybe Semenyo's got a little bit more in game, but
Yeah.
the penalties kind of just gives him the edge, right? Especially if he's cheaper.
Yeah, I think so. Right now, you probably go Clivert, man. I mean, he was a bit of a slipper pick until now, like 3 penalties, and he's taken all of them. Like,
Obviously, we've got
yeah,
to put recency bias a bit to the side because he's never ever going to get free. Like I think on Match of the Day there was a stat where it was like in the 19th, like literally the 1960s or something. The last time a player had 3 penalties in a game or something. So it's very unique. It's very crazy that that happened. But I do think that it's something to keep an eye out for. If he keeps getting 60, 70, even 80 minutes, he's on
yeah,
pen. Like it could be a close one between them both, especially if he's cheaper.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. So just going back to the team, just like an interesting stat to bring up. Like I'm into data, so I'm always looking at expected goal involvement for players. Number one for midfielders is Mo Salah at I think 12.2. Palmer is second at 9, and Saka is third at 8.5. Do you know who is the fourth highest for expected goal involvement in the league from midfielders? It's Brendan Johnson. Pretty
Wow.
crazy. So I'm gonna look to just keep him and start him just every week. Like I've seen this exact same thing last year. Like it's when the minutes are good, you just have to be there. Like the XG is too high for him. He's just a finisher for this team. Terrible baseline bonus. But I'm surprised he got 10 points because usually he doesn't get that. But shows you how weird the performance was for Spurs last week. And Son's been very underwhelming. At times, I have more faith in Brennan returning more than Son, which is ridiculous to say out loud, but it's actually true.
On that point, how would you recommend people for Mbimo to Johnson then? Because obviously you have Stark vouching for Kulusevski or recommending, or he's going there with Kulusevski. What would you say about Brennan Johnson? Is he a good replacement for Mbimo?
Well, are you willing to risk somebody that only plays like 30 minutes in the game? Like that's the question to ask yourself.
Okay, fair enough.
Because like
Yeah,
Spurs are so attacking, it's like for example, came off the bench against Man City and scored, picked up a 1 xG chance.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the other players at this price, it would take them 3 or 4 weeks just to get 1 xG.
Yeah.
Like, Bumo
Example
hasn't done it for,
Semenyo.
like, 4
Example
weeks in a
Semenyo. He's
row.
been poor. Rogers,
Yeah.
Semenyo. Those guys have been poor right now. Yeah. Yeah.
And then you counteract that with the fact that, you have somebody like Cliver that picks up 3 pens in a week.
Oh yeah.
Right?
There
So
we go.
there are different ends of the spectrum, but I'm really happy to own Brennan, even if the minutes are not there. I just trust Spurs to score goals. Like, that's basically it. If he starts or comes off the bench, he's shown in the past that he can return. So let's keep that there for now. There are 3 players at that price point I really like. There's a Cairo Matoma, but I don't like the entry point this week. There's
Mm,
Ibrice Eze, who I could potentially bring in against Ipswich, and
mhm.
then just look to bench him in the future because he's also on pens for Palace, and the fixtures
Yep.
open up really nicely from game week 18.
Yeah.
But apart from those, I don't really like many others. I could potentially actually go up because now that I've sold Isak to Jackson, I have point 0.5 in the bank. So I'm only point 0.2 away from Brennan Johnson to Diego Jota, which is like the dream move. So I got to really think about if it's worth keeping money in the bank to make that, or maybe Brennan can go up a little bit. I don't know, but we'll see. I might just end up keeping him for a really long time. So that's kind of the way that I'm thinking. I look at Nuri and Lewis Hall as the biggest weakness within my squad. Um, I really want to rectify that. So as soon as I see Joe Gomez start in the midweek, he's going to be coming into my squad almost immediately. Apart from that, yeah, I really like my squad. So that's the way that I'm looking. From last week, a nice green arrow for the first time in a while, and pretty simple decision for next week where you just keep the captaincy on Cole Palmer going into game week 14, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any advice on the game week 14 team?
So here's your team. Obviously, I wasn't showing your team earlier, but here's your team. Obviously, you got Raya. I mean, you're gonna go to the team quickly for your game week
Yeah, no
14.
problem. So I got double Arsenal defense. So I'm starting in the goalkeeper position with Raya, Gabriel in defense, and then I've got Trent Alexander-Arnold already put in, and I'm starting Nuri away at Everton, and I've got Lewis Hall on the bench playing at home to Liverpool. In midfield, I've got Mbumo, Palmer, Saka, and then I've got Heung-min Son instead of where most people have Salah, and then Brennan Johnson as my differential pick, and then Cunha and Isak up top. But I've sold Isak to Jackson, and I'm benching Joao Pedro.
Nice, nice. I think that your team looks really good, bro. Honestly, I think. Well, obviously you don't have Isak. You said you got Jackson now, right?
Hmm.
So you're gonna start Jackson, and you're gonna bench out Pedro.
Yep.
Interesting. So, because I'm in a similar situation myself. Because why bench out Pedro?
Uh, I see. There's a chance that Brennan Johnson could be benched as well, and like you could just say that JP's on pens,
Hmm.
but I just look at the underlying data, and Brennan is just ridiculous. And I think that Bournemouth and Spurs game will have the most goals of any game this weekend. Maybe the West Ham Leicester game might have more goals, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really trust JP's minutes, and I prefer 90 minutes of Mbumo. Like always, I just prefer him. Like, he's such a good pick. Like, people disrespect him too much on the timeline on Twitter recently these days. Happy
Fair
to just
enough.
own him. And
Fair
JP to
enough.
me is
Fair
just
enough.
like a good eighth attacker.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Should we move on to Isak? Any thoughts?
I'm just happy that Kanji's benching Joao Pedro because the first player on his bench has been getting 10 points every week, and he's on my starting 11. So what that means is JP Hall incoming. So let's go.
Literally, bro. That's fast.
Oh wow,
No,
it's
like what I
crazy.
would say is though, like you're underwhelmed by Son, and Son is the man you're choosing to go against Salah. And I just think BJ, I think you're like you've got a really good pick in Brennan Johnson. Like that's my thinking. Like it could be BJ or Kulu, but I think Spurs assets are slept on, and like Son is also slept on, and it's just I want a piece of that attack, but I think Brennan Johnson or Kulu can match Son for 3 million cheaper. So that's why
Hmm.
I'm Kulu slash, but I'm choosing Kulu. So hopefully he can just keep ticking along because yeah, Son has been underwhelming.
Yeah, like someone's got like 3 or 4 weeks in my team, and then he expires. Like Salah's like entry point is like 18. Like, it's if you don't go with Salah from that fixture onwards, like you're never getting him. So I just have to roll. I think at that point, wait to see how Sun does the next couple. I've lost like already 150 points to the field based off of that, basically, because I was never going to Holland. So if I didn't go Holland, I would have been on Mo and captaining him every week. God. But anyway, so let's see what happens. But
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, all your points are correct there.
Moving on for the Stark's Gameweek 13 team review. Stark, say a few words.
I had like 9 points come Sunday morning. I thought, my goodness, like I woke up drinking vodka. Like that's how bad it was. I wasn't going to turn up today. I was going to pull a sickie, but ultimately the Palmer Salah pulled through. Salah captaincy, done bits. It was actually quite worrying because he played last, and Saka like destroyed my rank. Watching that Arsenal first half was horrific. Not owning him. Bruno kind of mitigated that damage and kind of justified, because I was willing to take, and I did discuss taking a -8 to bring in Saka and captain him for last week. But obviously Bruno with a 9-pointer kind of realized that it was the right play to kind of just play Bruno and not take a -8.
How do you feel about there's this one idea of like each fixture swing that comes that you don't take advantage of, it means there's another fixture swing in the future that you're going to be targeting. So for example, I saw you go to Bruno and Leicester, and I was so jealous because like I needed a captaincy that week and he delivered big time. So I was super jealous. But like when you took advantage of the Bruno swing from I think it was 10, 11, 12, or I think, or was it 11, 12, 13? Instead of doing that, you could have waited and gone to the Bukayo Saka swing. So, like, do you have any regrets, or like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I said last week at this moment that I made I'm very objective and I'm very realistic. I made a mistake bringing in Bruno. I should have listen. The biggest mistake I made all season was bringing in Haaland in game week 8. I was genuinely 2 steps ahead of everyone. I had Salah, Palmer, Saka, and I was 15k. So if I kept that structure, I'd probably be top 1k in the world right now. So it's a very bitter pill to swallow, because having Haaland for those blanks while Salah kept getting double-digit hauls, it put me I'm still 2 steps behind everyone. I don't own Saka. So I went from 2 steps in front of everyone to 2 steps behind, and 15k to 400k. Like, I genuinely could have had an unbelievable season, and it's very, very, very annoying. Like, when I think about it, I get annoyed. So let's move on to next week.
Obviously, you got your game week 14 team now. Stop.
Yeah, I think I brought in Kulu, and who else did I bring in? Saka.
I think Saka, yeah.
Yeah, just happy with that. Hoping Kulu justifies the hit end-to-end game. I'm hoping for a 10-pointer from Kulu, and then moving forwards, I'll be bringing in Trent for Rico Lewis, and I'll be looking at Amid Diallo for for Rodgers.
It's a good move. I'll probably do the same for the Semenyo if he keeps his place.
I've also got my eye on Rashford for Rodgers, because I can afford it. So if Rashford I did shout out this in the last pod. Rashford to keep an eye out for the Boomer replacements. If he continues to nail down number 9, he's a striker playing in midfield, which is a cheat code in FPL, as we know. And United very attacking. Like, they looked good at home versus, I know, Everton, but listen, Everton are known to keep stalemates and keep the game compact and just play Sean Dyche typical football. So that game was very promising for United attacking assets for their home games. We could see like a Brentford situation where they destroy teams at home and maybe struggle away. So one to keep an eye.
Agreed.
Isak, if he's fit, I might play him ahead of someone else, even though it's Liverpool, because I don't have Liverpool defence. So if I have Isak on my bench, I'm literally playing into people's hands who have Liverpool defence. Whereas if I start Isak and Isak scores, it's a big swing, and I'm not taking advantage of it if I bench Isak. So I'm in this situation. I don't want to be in it. I would rather have Liverpool defenders, but I don't. So realistically, I'm probably going to start Isak and hope the swings my way.
Who would you bench?
Who do you bench?
Probably Brennan. I keep saying Brennan. Why do I keep saying Brennan? Rodgers, probably, or JP.
That's interesting. A lot of people have similar dilemmas, bro, to whether to play Mbemo or Rodgers, or whether to play JP or Rodgers. How would you guys rank these 4 assets? Rodgers, Mbemo, João Pedro.
JP ahead of Rodgers. Like,
okay.
JP Rodgers 100%. He's on pens. He's in a better attack right now, I would say. The fixture's obviously better for Rodgers, but Villa just look leggy. And is Rodgers even going to start with the weekend games? Like, you don't know at the moment. Duran's due a start, right? So Yeah.
What about
JPA.
Mbemo? Mbemo. So where does Mbemo come in? 1, 2, 3.
I think this is a fixture where Brentford were definitely going to counter attack Villa, and I think Mbeumo, I kind of see Mbeumo as like a counter attack king in that sense.
Mm.
So like, I don't blame managers for even holding him for this game because I know a lot are, and I would probably, if you're holding him, take advantage of it, start him. There's managers who have sold him, punish the owners. Like, if you're in a situation you don't want to be in, you've still got to play it out, because if you don't play it out, like, you're getting doubles, like gut punched. Because if Boomer does haul on your bench, like this, and you don't own him, then sellers are like, they're not losing out on anything.
Okay.
Do you know?
Yeah, I agree. I will get to my team anyways. Okay, fair enough. That's a good explanation. Kanji, but your ranking for the 3 assets I mentioned?
Bumo is at the top,
hmm
JP right underneath, and then Rogers at the bottom.
Fair enough. All right. Any more closing thoughts on Stark's team?
No, I think it looks great. I mean, I just wish that Rogers spot could be like Brennan Johnson and Kulusevski. That'd be like a crazy stacked midfield. What do you think of that idea?
um, I'm trying to get one attacker from all the top 6 teams in my team, so I'm reserving it for a United spot because I think they will be very attacking at home, and I'm liking Diallo. Diallo's number 1 as an enabler, because I do want to leave options open for Haaland, because Haaland is against the
Ooh.
template right now, and the template changes regarding, like, if the context changes. Say Saka or Palmer gets injured, or Salah, like, I'm gonna want Haaland. So I need an enabler in that midfield because that's what he enables.
Makes sense,
Yeah,
bro.
makes sense. Makes sense. No, I think the team looks great, bro. I just think that you need to upgrade the defense, just like myself, which I'll get to. We need to get some good defenders in. We've got some, we've got some minuses in our defense, to be honest. So
I mean, to
let's
be
move
fair, a
on.
lot of other people have terrible defenders, but you have great ones. I really like your team. Don't worry, bro.
But my team,
No. Like I'm saying, a lot of people. Not saying you, but I'm saying a lot of people in general. They don't have good 4.5 defenders. Like Leif Davis is an incredible defender at home. Alice don't score many goals. Eze
no, I
is
hear
just
you.
coming back to fitness.
Yeah, I hear
Like,
you.
yo, Lewis is playing for arguably one of the top 3 defenses on paper. Like, if we look at the Rob graphics, Man City are number 1 for a clean sheet percentage. But that's fake news to
Yeah,
me.
that's fake.
So,
Yeah, so let's just move on to my team, bro. uh, we're going to sidetrack. Anyways, I had a fantastic game week, boys. I had a like a big swing in rank. I made a very big decision in selling Haaland last week. I sold Haaland for Jackson, and I sold Raul Jimenez for Ja Pedro, and I bought in Saka for Rogers. Ultimately, everyone that I sold blanked, so that worked out for me this week, luckily. And the 2 players that I bought in, they hold massively. Obviously, especially Saka, and Jackson returned, of course. Ja Pedro, however, didn't, which I'm okay with. I think I got him for the long run, not just 1 week. And then obviously Palmer, Salah, standards, they gave returns. The big one for me is Sanchez finally keeping a clean sheet. So I'm so glad that he got me a return in 7 weeks now. I got him in game week 6 wildcard. And then obviously you got Chris Wood, Mr. Reliable, my differential from game week 1 that continues to serve me well. So yeah, I had a very good week. I think I had a very good comeback after losing out to Salah captaincy 3 weeks in a row. So I think I finally made a comeback going against Mo. I won this time, just marginally. But in the future, I'm not sure I'll be taking those decisions against him. I'll probably favor him in any 50-50 scenario, just due to who he is. So yeah, man. Overall, I'm really happy with the week. Any thoughts you guys have?
Sorry, my cat's making the craziest noise. Let me get out.
No worries. All right, then I'll just go to my game week 14 team selection. I've got Sanchez, Southampton away, good fixture. Obviously, there's a question to be had whether to play Fabianski or Sanchez. I just think that I'll go with Sanchez because I think Chelsea is a better team. And then I have a very bad defense, guys. It's really, really bad. I've got Hall, who plays Liverpool at home, Gabriel, who's a bit of a doubt, United at home.
bro,
And then I got Burgess. I mean, come on, I'm rolling up with Burgess and Greaves, man. This is dire situation right now. I need a
who's the guy
surgery.
last on your who's the guy last on your bench?
It's Kanate who's injured. I need to take him out. So my defense is basically absolute shambolic right now. It is awful. That's why I'm looking to take a -4 to take out Kanate for Trent. I think it makes sense, bro. Honestly, it makes sense. I understand Newcastle, but it makes sense because if Trent gets an assist, I'll be kicking myself for why not going there early. So I think I'll make the move. And then obviously
Yeah. I
midfield,
mean,
I've
you're
got,
playing.
sorry, go on.
What was your move already then? If this is the
So I
-4,
bought in
what's your
Cunha for Wood,
original move?
bro. I bought in Cunha for Wood this week.
Makes sense. So you held for Ipswich and then you moved on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a hard decision. I love Chris Wood. He done an exceptional service to me this whole season. I'm probably gonna go back to him somewhere in the future in 3-4 weeks time, but we'll see. And then obviously you got João Pedro. I have a bench dilemma, bro. I'm not sure who to bench. Mbemo, João Pedro, Semenyo. What would you do, guys? Because I need your help here.
Semenyo's at home. Spurs defense is horrendous. There's
Yeah.
no way you bench Semenyo, bro.
No,
And
Semenyo's
it's
playing.
just Mbeumo,
It's
JP.
Mbemo and João Pedro. That's all it is. Yeah. Difficult one, man. I'll probably go with Mbemo, bro. The way Villa is looking right now is tough.
Yeah, bro. You get 20 more minutes.
Yeah.
You get like 20 more minutes, but you're playing for a less attacking team.
Yeah.
It's pretty 50-50. That's why I get it. But he's also a midfielder too. So I'm just
Exactly.
gonna be on Mbeumo, man.
Yo,
Probably, yeah.
selling Chris Wood before Man City is crazy. He's gonna score versus Man City.
You probably
Yeah.
will. Yeah. But Cunha, I just think the template is too strong for me to go against Cunha right now.
No, I get it.
So
It is like I would have held Wood and then just made one transfer to Trent.
defender. No, I mean I completely get you, because then you don't have a benching dilemma, isn't it? That makes sense to you. Yeah. No, I get you, but I think I wanted to protect myself in that sense, that I want Cunha to be there. I think João
You just
Pedro, man.
respect Cunha.
Yeah, I
You
just think I
respect
have
the
to.
upside.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Any other thoughts, guys?
No, team looks great. No
Stark,
problems,
sorry, I have
man.
to
You just
ask
gotta
you,
replace
Stark.
nothing.
Who would you bench, Stark? Sorry, because Kanji already gave me an answer between Mbima and João Pedro. It's a big decision for me, bro.
So I'm just I'm just laughing at the comments.
What are they saying?
Crazy comments in this video right now.
Wow, what's
Yo,
happening,
talk
bro?
to them, bro. I can't read it.
So, Ivor said Stark just reconnects with that Wood comment.
That's hilarious, bro. Oh,
JP and Mbeumo, listen, man, I don't want headaches, bro. I don't have any headaches in my team, so you have to figure that one out yourself, bro. I can't
Come on,
decide.
bro. Help me out, bro. Don't leave me on an island, bro. Help me out. You're a good friend of mine. Come on. Come on. Give me an advice here, bro. I need your help right now, bro. Come on.
Oh, damn. Like Fulham, bro, Fulham's a good... I think Villa are more vulnerable than Fulham right now, defensively. So I think, obviously, that you get more points for a midfielder.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I can just see him boom. It's typical FPL, isn't it? It is the history of the FPL, as Kalini once said.
Mm-hmm.
You sell someone and they haul.
Basically.
So just play Mbeumo and punish the owners, because you know it's 15-pointer inbound.
Yeah. And I also don't like João Pedro's positioning, bro. I was not impressed with where he was playing. I was not impressed at all when he played versus bro, he's playing too deep, man. He's fiddling too much around the touch line. He's like, he didn't even get a single shot on target. Like, I think maybe one shot, and it was a poor, like, it was in congested area. It wasn't a clear shot. It's like he doesn't want to score goals. Like, all of a sudden I bring him in, he doesn't want to score goals. So yeah, man. Tough one.
All good though. The team sort of picks itself. Do you guys want to talk to any of the comments that have been in the chat?
Yeah, let's address the comments and close it out, because today is a bit of a short one and I gotta go as well, boys. Apologies.
So I just want to shout out everyone tuned in. FPL White, I know he's in the chat. Shout out FPL White, Evil, Cortex, Thinking Cap always in, watches from minute 1 to the end. So big shout out to you, and give his video a watch for captaincy. Like, he's been killing it recently.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. Really appreciate it. Anything else, boys? Should we close it out?
I think we're good.
Someone just with a dilemma before we end.
Go on.
Perfect. Yeah, read it aloud.
Start or bench. So he's got Hall versus Konsa. Wait. Start or bench Hall versus Konsa, Verbruggen versus Flecken, Raul versus JP, Cunha versus Semenyo this week. So I'll break it one at a time. Hall or Konsa?
Konsa.
That's easy, bro. Konsa, man.
Yeah. Verbruggen versus Flecken. Verbruggen.
Verbruggen, yeah.
Verbruggen, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And then
Who's
Raul.
at home? Are either of them at home or no?
No, they're both away.
But you're versing Aston Villa versus
Brighton.
What's the other one?
They're playing
Brighton's
Fulham.
playing who?
Fulham. It's a tough
That's a
one.
big 50-50, bro. I don't want to say anything. Like, go
No,
pick
you
the
have to.
player
You can't stay on
like,
the
man.
fence, Kanji. You can't stay on the fence. We have to. We're content creators. Go on.
Yeah, you know what? All right, yo, play Flecken, bro. The guy's gonna make more saves.
Fair enough. That's a good shot. Makes sense. You
Fair
probably
enough.
make more sense.
Raul versus JP.
JP.
Yeah, JP.
And then Cunha versus Semenyo.
Oh, that's a tough one. Fuck me. It's Cunha then, probably. It's Cunha.
Yep. Cunha.
Yeah. Cunha.
Yo, wait, Raul versus JP is crazy because isn't Raul at home?
Raul, I don't care where Raul is. Raul could play. He's at Mexico. He could play in England. He could play wherever. I don't give a shit where he plays. Raul is sitting on that damn bench. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn, bro. I'll put my head on the line. I don't care.
Raul's playing Brighton.
Yeah, I don't care who he plays. He can play Ipswich. I'm benching him.
Damn, bro. He's got a dilemma for real. Like,
bro, I'm playing John Pedro, bro. I don't care, bro.
That's tough.
I'm sorry, bro. I have an agenda versus Raul right now because he hurt me. I got him in. He didn't return. So take it my opinion with a pinch of salt there.
Isn't are Wolves away at Everton?
Wolves. Sorry. You mean So Raul is basically he plays for Fulham. He's at home.
No, I'm saying is Cunha away at Everton?
It's away, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't think that's a great fixture.
It's not, but like Cunha is just that guy. Like I'm sure Everton will sit deep, try to play defensive, but Cunha is the one guy that can break them. So if you have him, you got to start him.
No, I think Everton will go at him where it's at Goodison. Like, obviously they're changing stadiums, aren't they? So they're going to go for it at Goodison, like farewell vibes and stuff. It's just Wolves, man. Yeah, Cunha's a great player. I'm not saying that, but all I'm saying is I would not be surprised if Everton do win, where it's final vibes at Goodison and try and keep a clean sheet. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I rate that opinion.
Fair enough.
But I'm sitting here with Nuri and Cunha on my team, so you suck.
Yeah.
Someone asked, that's why I'm betting Strand Larsen, right, Kanji? Cortes asked.
Yeah, I mean, Strand Larsen's different than Cunha, though. Like, doesn't have the set pieces. Like, you just need an open play goal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is Cortex dilemma, bro. He has Welbeck versus Strand Larsen. Who would you play?
Oh, crap. Welbeck. I'll play Welbeck. I trust Brighton attack probably more than Wolves attack, I think. But at the same time, Everton is I guess, easier opponent than Fulham. I don't know. It could be a close one, but yeah.
Exactly. It's a complete 50-50.
That's like picking between salt and vinegar crisps and pickled onion.
Yeah. All right then, boys. Thank you guys all for joining, and we'll see you guys next week. Gameweek 50 deadline, and all the best of luck. And also shout out, we're gonna be doing watch along, right? We're gonna be doing watch along on Wednesday. So make sure you guys tune in.
Oh my god! Wow, bro, time flies quick.
Yeah.
Gillette Soccer Wednesday. Me, Kanji, Cayman, and Meerkat live on YouTube.
On Roundtable podcast. So make sure you tune in, boys. On Wednesday, we'll basically send it to you out, and make sure you follow us and share and obviously join.
We haven't seen many watch alongs in the community, right?
Nope.
Nice.
Well,
hopefully it goes well. We can make it a thing, bro. So let's see how it goes.
Yep. Thank you. All right then. See you later.